Every year, Filipinos from around the world mark September 1st as the beginning of the countdown to Christmas Day. This countdown, which spans from September, October, November, and December, otherwise known as the Burr months, thus giving the title to the Philippines for having the longest Yuletide season in the entire world. And it doesn't wind down until around January 6th of the following year. But why do they do it? Nobody can actually pinpoint a date in which this tradition started, but any Filipino alive and breathing can tell you it's been around as long as they can remember. In addition, millions of faithful Filipinos will rise before dawn to attend Mass, a holdover from the Spaniards who ruled the Philippines for more than 300 years. That is, until 1898. The Masses are celebrated over 9 consecutive days. The Novena from December 16 to December 24. This ritual originated as dispensation for farmers who rose early to avoid the day's extreme heat. In the rest of the Hispanic world, the Novena was at night. Today, Filipino parishioners also fill the pews for Simbang Gabi, which means night mass in the Philippines in the language Tagalog. The faithful endure the early hour because they believe that when they complete these 9 days, their wishes and prayers will come true. As an American, and in my country, like many Americans, I was annoyed with seeing any type of Christmas artifact or decoration up before the Thanksgiving season. I felt that way because I felt as though big business was trying to commercialize Christmas, thus forgetting the real meaning of the Christmas season. In short, it was as if greed was trying to push baby Jesus out the door. You know, like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. At this point, you're probably a hard time with that in the US. How am I adapting to 17 weeks of Christmas in the Philippines? That's a good question. My first experience of a Philippines Christmas was unwrapped in 2014. And the feelings I carried over from the US jumped out of the box. It's as if I jumped out of the frying pan right into the fire. I carried the unboxing of those negative feelings into the 2015 Burr season, and that's when things started to change for me. Then one frosty, wintry night, in another country that is, I was seeing with my own eyes that the long run-up to Christmas is not some grand design like Black Friday. The Burr season, the celebration of God, faith, family, friends, fiesta, karaoke, food, and fun. Churches throughout the Philippines often remind parishioners not to forget baby Jesus during these times of consumerism, while consumerism eats and chips away at the heart and soul of the world. Churches are wreathed in Christmas splendor, displaying life-size nativity scenes. More than 90% of the Philippines identify as Christian, the majority of them Roman Catholic. So, have my feelings towards Christmas changed? I mean, in terms of celebrating Christmas before Thanksgiving? I mean, celebrating Christmas for 17 weeks. Be patient. I will share with you towards the end of this narration. The frenzy surrounding the Burr months is bound up in anticipation of the arrival of the overseas workers. This is a really big homecoming. The average overseas contract runs about 2 to 3 years. Not every Filipino overseas worker can come home. When they do make it home, happy tears, laughter of all ages, parades, parties, carolers, and Christmas lights run rampant throughout the community streets, making the season merry. Musicians and performing artists are booked in every conceivable venue, thus showcasing their happy talents. But the real stars of the Christmas season appear to be the Filipino overseas workers. In 2018, there were 2.3 million Filipinos employed abroad, sending back a combined 31.3 billion US dollars in remittances last year. After the December 24 midnight mass, Filipinos gather in their homes to celebrate the traditional Noche Buena feast. No Filipino Christmas table is complete without roasted pig or lechon, the whole pig. The Noche Buena feast will also consist of liempo, carbonara chicken, otherwise known as lechon manok, hot dogs, menudo, fried chicken, lechon kawali, calderada, sisig, lumpiang Shanghai, barbecue, kari-kari, pancit, crispy pasta, ham, chicken macaroni, spaghetti, fruit, soft drinks, and adult beverages, just to name a few. And after the feast, it's time to open the Christmas gifts. The Philippines Presidential Decree number 851 requires employers to give their employees a 13-month pay, in which many Filipinos put towards the feast. Although I find it funny seeing Halloween items and Christmas items displayed in the malls at the same time. But after 5 years of being here, I've gotten used to it. More importantly, I have learned that the Burr months represent a psychological time clock for most Filipinos to prepare for loved ones returning home from overseas. For Filipinos, the Burr season is about celebrating the birth of baby Jesus, God, faith, and their loved ones and friends. It's a reminder of how Christmas used to be for me when I was a young child living in the United States. It's also a reminder of how nice people treat each other during the Christmas season back in my homeland. People smiling, offering goodwill unto others, a feeling of hope and happiness, pushing aside our troubles and our differences, well, for at least 1 month. As Americans, we tend to lose ourselves, our traditions, our hope, our happiness during the remaining 11 months of the year. America is a beautiful land, a country filled with beautiful people in her own right, caring and giving people just like here in the Philippines. But something is broken, something is missing. The country has become commercialized, jaded, cynical. We've lost our way. We place more value in our savings account, the homes we own, and the cars we drive. We are wrapped up in our own little world, not feeling much or caring much for anything that goes around outside of our plastic bubble. But as long as it doesn't disturb our own little world in which we are living, we don't care. It's as if we've become immune to helping others outside our little circles. I was guilty of living inside that little circle myself. It served as a way of shielding from what's wrong with the world, from what's wrong with me, fearing the world wouldn't like me, if I showed my face. The Philippines culture has taught me when we live our lives in a bubble, we potentially separate ourselves from what's good in the world. Stepping outside of my judgmental thoughts about the birth season, stepping outside the bubble I used to live in, has allowed me to see that you don't have to be rich to be happy. Getting back to the question in hand, do I now feel differently about the birth season? Allow me to answer a question with a question. What is there not to like about a country that is monetarily poor yet rich in happiness? What is there not to like about a people who are poor yet would give you the food off their table, the shirt off their back? What is there not to like about a people who cherishes God and family and friends and keeps them above all things? What is there not to like about walking amongst people who, if were monetarily rich, would help others who are suffering simply because they know all about suffering firsthand? What is there not to like about families who don't even know me, yet gently hold my elbow and escort me inside their homes to celebrate Christmas, an anniversary, or a birthday? So yes, my feelings towards the birth season have changed. It's the Filipinos' way of celebrating life. I wish to wrap this heartfelt gift and put it under your tree this birth season by asking one final question. What is there not to like about feeling accepted, wanted,
Happy
appreciated,
New Year!
and loved?